Greetings, dear viewers. Let's get into another match today. Alright, we're going up against a Protoss player here on Blood Boil. What a strange looking map this is. Let's get the Overlord moving out there. Very strange map. Alright, one of the first things I want to do while I build up and wait for this to happen is looking for my expansions. Looks like I just go straight down the ramp and build up that way. Okay, so we got an Overlord coming in. And now with that Overlord on the way, we're going to pick up an extractor, get another drone, wait for that extractor to finish. We'll wait for 200 minerals now. Okay, is this map big? I think this map looks kind of sizable here. So there's that. Let's go ahead and drop a spawning pool. Get this guy moving out so he can go scout later. Alright. Let's pick up some Vespene gas. Get as many drones as I can here. Let's get another. Let's get another drone. Boom, there we go. Puts us at that 17 supply that we want. I'm not going to pick up an earlier Overlord. Overlord? Not going to pick up an earlier Overlord. I'm just going to let this all finish and do what I've got to do. What are these things? Like blood crystals or something? Or plants? I don't know. Actually, it looks like darkly colored leaves on a planet with snow. Okay, interesting. Okay. Metabolic boost. Get a queen. And then the Zerglings. There should be one more larva here. What happened? Interesting. Alright, they're going to be set as group 2 there, and I believe this is his spawn location? Yes, so we're going to get them moving right here. Let them do that. Okay, so we've got that going. The queen is coming out too. And of course we need an Overlord to get ready for all that good stuff. So what comes next? I'm going to say roaches. I'm going to get a roach warren next. But I want to make sure not to fall behind on drones, so I'm going to replace that drone immediately. Okay, we got the queen. We got the Overlord moving. Just go have him check another spot out there. Okay. Do I want another? Okay, I want more drones. Try and finish that up. There we go. But I'm going to need another Overlord very soon because we're already at 24 over 30. Alright, so we're going to get these guys moving in. Here's that Overlord that I need. There's no expansion here. And here we have... Can I sneak through that? Can I sneak that? Let's try and get one Zergling through. No, I cannot. Okay, so we're going to pound on this pylon. Do what we can. See if we can break that down. Going to pick up some more drones. Now, does he have anything to stop me? Okay, he's got one adept. We've got one adept attacking me, but we can take down this pylon in time here. And then break in. I've got 3 Zerglings left. Okay, in we go. Let's go ahead and pound on one of these probes, maybe take it out. Okay, we got one probe off of that. We still have our Overlord taking a look in here. Oh, wait, is there a back expansion that I can go to here? Okay, he does have a back expansion here. If he fails to close up that gap, I'm going to do this. So, now that I've seen that in his base, there's an easy-to-reach expansion here, I'm just going to do that in the back of my base. I'm going to go and expand right here. Wow, okay, cool. Okay. Still going to look around. He's got a wall there, and he's got an expansion built up right here. We've got some Zerglings moving out. If he doesn't close up that gap that we created, then we're going to be able to take advantage of that. Okay, we're going to pick up a lair, and we're going to pick up another extractor. Go ahead and drop... We know he's got an adept coming out, so let's go ahead and put one spine crawler here. Let's see if he doesn't close that up. Oh, he didn't properly close it up. Let's go ahead and take out this one adept. Okay, and then get into his mineral line. Okay. Let them take out as many of those as we can, and while they do that... Alright, so it was good that I sent that second attack. Add this here. And what do I need next? I'm not sure. We got 16 there. Okay, so we need 3 more drones. Because 3 of these are going to go right here, like so. Okay, so hopefully we dealt a lot of economic damage to him. So if he fails to close up that again, then this next group is also going to go over there. Okay, we're going to have that group going there. We're not going to over-invest there. Ah, the Hive Cluster is under attack, but they've just got the one adept out here. So that's fine. I'm going to pick up a queen there. The adept's not going to be able to do very much. You can send those Zerglings out And we don't really want to get too much scouted here. So what comes next for me? Hydras? Hydras. Let's get the Hydra den. Okay. We got one adept attacking me over here. The queen will come out and be able to take her out. That's no problem. Let's see what our Zerglings can do. Did he close that up? No, he did not. Okay, so we're going to attack these units here and take out whatever army he's built. That's just this small number of Zerglings, dealing that much more economic damage. Okay, not a big deal. This queen comes out, begins attacking her. Then we're going to start putting some drones up. Wow, looks like she's almost an even match for this queen. That's kind of silly. Alright, so now that we're going to get the adept out of our base, I'm actually going to drop a Nydus worm here. And I want to get an overlord in position to get back here so I can put the Nydus worm. I can have the Nydus worm do some cool things. Okay, so we've got this doing what it's got to do. And now let's build up a ton of roaches and get as many overlords as we need to supply this army. Hopefully we've kept him down enough now that he feels like he can't really make too much of a move. That's what I'm hoping right here. So he's got these stalkers attacking this overlord, but this overlord's going to chill out right here. Okay, so he's got some stalkers, and that's fine. So we know he's got stalkers, we know he's got adepts. So we're going to do this here. Adepts, however you want to say it. Now, we can summon a Nydus worm for 100 minerals and 100 gas. But we're going to go ahead and get some Hydralisks out here. Oh, wow, those are cheap. No, I guess not. I was just able to make a whole crap ton of them. Okay, they're going to be group 3, and I need the muscular augments, definitely. So we're going to wait for that to be a thing that I can get. And I'll select muscular augments here, like so. And the rest will go towards Zerglings. Then we're going to load up this Nydus worm and go for an attack on his expansion, hopefully take it out. Okay, here come the Hydras. They don't need to be fast right now. So let's go ahead and wait for those Zerglings to come out. Okay, get some more larvae. And then we're going to drone up behind this. Alright, so we're going to send in these guys. Here come the Zerglings. We're going to send them in. Oh no! Oh, he still didn't get the unit that he wanted to get. Okay, so we're going to grab this. And we are going to build a Nydus worm back here. Hopefully he doesn't come and attack me too hard. Going to load these guys up. It's going to take some time for it to actually summon. How long does that actually take? I don't know. I don't know how long that actually takes. I might need these guys for defense. Okay, so we're going to do this and deploy them. So out go my units there. Okay. A big ol' nice attack going on in there. But we definitely want to be able to defend our base. Okay, let's get our roaches moving up there. Let's get these guys running up here too. Roaches next. Hydras as well. Get as much damage off as we can. Okay, we've got our Hydras focus firing the units that we need to focus fire. Okay. Alright, and we're going to kite these probes with the Hydras, like this. Deal as much damage to those probes as we can. Okay, we got his army. Alright, we got his army there, that's good. Alright, and we also have some Zerglings in here, didn't we? No, we did not. But we do have some units coming out, and we're going to be able to send them over there. And he's moving up, he's moving up, he's moving up. Oh, here we go. Here we go, he's moving up, trying to take out my forces. But we got to get some units out, get them in here quickly, and then deploy them this way. Let him attack that. That's not enough to take it out. Here they come. Here come more units here. Come on, I gotta get him selected. Okay, well, we did get some more units into his base, and that's good. But that's, you know, that wasn't ideal. We weren't able to get our full army in there. Okay, but we do have an expansion. He does not have an expansion. I should expand out here now, because he's very weak at this point. And we can take out his probes and such. Actually, it looks like we just win this one. So we were able to get a Nydus worm in the back of his base. Go ahead and put this on the correct, whatever you want to call it there. Rally point. Mineral field depleted. Alright, let's get some more Hydras out. Okay, and we should have muscular augments. Alright, we're actually pretty good here. Our roaches are doing what? Where are they? They're still attacking over here. He's got no economy left. So we really should just get our units moving out there. GG. Okay. So we take down a win right there. So what occurred? What happened between the previous few matches that you folks have seen and this match? You're like, wow, this game was actually really sweet. Well, I got a little bit... I'd noticed that wall-offs were a thing that were stopping me. I like to play an early aggressive style. So what I did was I went and looked up... I went and brushed up a little bit on Zerg units. I wanted to know how to get Overlords up. Apparently now they have to have an evolution chamber and then upgrade ventral sacs either from there, or they do it on their own. They morph their ventral sacs. I'm not 100% certain how that works, but I wanted to have more harassment options than just attack the door. Let's go ahead and go to the score screen. I just wanted to have more options than just try and like baneling bust the door or attack the door with Zerglings. I wanted to have more options available to me because I like to play a fast, aggressive style. And so I remembered the Nydus Worm. I was thinking about the Nydus Worm. It's something I've always wanted to make some use of, but never really played too much with until just these past few days where I've been running into a lot of wall-offs and, you know, it's really been shutting me down and I really don't have a whole lot of options. I want to take control away from my opponent. Usually I'll feel like my opponent is the one in control, but I want to take that away. So this was my first time in years. Actually, one of my first times overall, I feel. Maybe I used the Nydus Worm a little bit in 2011 and maybe in years leading up to now, but this is I want to consider this my first time. This is definitely my first time since I started playing again, attempting to use the Nydus Worm. I wanted to build up an army, Roach Hydra, and or even just Zerglings, and get them into their base because I didn't want the wall-off to be the thing that stops me from winning games. So I wanted to maintain that aggressive style, and the Nydus Worm seemed to be the way that I could do that. And one of the changes that has occurred since I last played with Nydus Worm, or since I last played Starcraft competitively, one of the changes is that Nydus Worms can no longer be destroyed until they have actually burst forth from the ground, which means you can more reliably get them out there and increases the Zerg players' harassment options. So I decided to try and make use of it, and as we could see, it was actually pretty sweet. So let's go ahead and close this out. I am interested in that game, though. I want to watch the replay anyway. I know this wasn't a loss, but I want to watch the replay anyway. So let's go ahead and hit up... Oh, there was an option on that score screen, wasn't there, to do that? Let's go there, and it is on, what, Blood Boil? Let's go ahead and hit that up. I want to watch this replay anyway. I want to see it from my opponent's perspective and see what happens here. Let's go to my opponent, leave it on their camera. We'll speed it up, though, faster times 4 because we just, you know, finished this match anyway. Alright, so they placed down their pylon. Now I want to use the production tab up there in the top left to see whereabouts I am in the game. We know what we're doing here. We just saw it happen. I'm building up my spawning pool, about to do the whole thing where I get the metabolic boost, the queen, and the 6 Zerglings. So there's metabolic boost, queen, and then there's the 6 Zerglings up in the production tab. My opponent is building their wall off here, and they're kind of sitting on a lot of minerals. There we go. It's because they meant to expand. So they built up minerals, and now we're about even in that regard. So our workers and our econ are about even, and they intentionally floated some minerals there. Now, I came over here early with these units. I was able to beat his adept out, break down those pylons, get in. I really should have taken this opportunity to scout rather than try and take out just like 1 or 2 probes. Here's where I learned about... Yeah, let's go ahead and pause this real quick. Here is where I learned about the fact that we could expand behind our bases here. That's pretty cool. Alright, let's go ahead and continue. Stick it back to his camera. He's got his adept moving, who just ran right by. And now he runs by my base, but he's not looking at my base, he's looking at his base, because I've got some units in that were able to sneak by that imperfectly placed pylon. So he moves up. He tries to get some harassment off. That's important. Okay. Alright, that's important. Let's go ahead and slow down a little bit and see if we can step back just a nudge and see this. Okay. So let's see. Going to play. Here is his adept. No, we want to scoot back just a little more because we want to see that. It's got to lead up to that point. I wish it was easier to seek. Here is something important. He comes up and tries to get some harassment off with this one adept, but is unable to because I did place this spine crawler down. So that's important. That's good to know that paid off. I'm not sure I 100% saw that. I think I caught a glimpse of that maybe in the game, but I didn't mention it. I caught a glimpse of the spine crawler extending out, but because he didn't really do a whole lot, I didn't notice the adept until they start attacking right here. And they do. They make an attack right there, and that's the one I think I notice. The hatchery finishes, and I don't worry too much about it. Okay, and at this point, we know that I'm sending Zerglings out, or I'm about to send Zerglings out, because this is that point in the game where that happens. Alright, let's stick back to his camera, my opponent's camera, and unpause. See what they're doing. He's trying to figure out what to do. He's like, okay, do I attack this building or what do I do? So right now we're both floating a lot of minerals. We're at about 800 each and 400 gas each. It's good to know we're about the same skill level. Better players would have spent those by now and be making use of them. But we're both trying to figure out what's going on. Now let me tell you why it's good to know that. Because whenever I'm floating 900 minerals and a lot of gas, it makes me feel like I am being, like I'm falling behind. But I've got to remember, matchmaking is putting me up against opponents that are of equal skill or about that. So they're liable to make those same mistakes. They're liable to make, they're liable to have those same gaps in their gameplay, in their own strategies and games as well. So I've got to try and remember that. That's something I've got to get into my own mindset. That's something I've got to affirm my own mindset with while I'm playing, because it's easy for me to turn that feeling of falling behind into a feeling of needing to catch up quickly, and then I rush and make all kinds of mistakes. So it's important for me to see stuff like this. My opponent is also floating minerals and gas. So yeah, that's important. Alright, so let's go ahead and see what he actually sees here. Now, in the production tab, we can see I'm getting my Hydralisk Den. I'm getting Roach Speed, or is that Muscular Augments? I'm not 100% sure. But I sneak another wave of Zerglings in, and he sees this, so I took out his Adept there, and I'm taking out a Stalker. He's trying to micro them, and I just let my Zerglings do what they do. He takes out my harassment. He sees my Queen fighting his Adept, and he does nothing to micro her. He could have shaded out and done some micro-type things, but did not. I'm floating 1,200 minerals at this point, trying to figure out what to do. And he's also floating a good number of minerals, trying to figure out what to do. So he's getting some more gateways, trying to finish some things up. He's also getting his robotics bay. Of course, yeah, he's getting a robotics bay. And now he's looking over at my base. Maybe he's sending some units out there. He does not close that gap in his front wall. He should probably do that. I'm not sure if I send another force out that way, but I am building up that Nydus network right now, which is important to note. And now he's also trying to build some probes and get his economy going. He's just looking for a reprieve from my harassment. I think my harassment sometimes gets into the mindsets of my opponent and forces them to kind of pull back and not pursue their intended strategy. They try and adapt to it, or they play a little bit more defensively, which is why I like to play that aggressive style that keeps me in control of the game. One thing I did this game that was right is that I did not overcommit in my harassment. I made small groups of Zerglings, I sent them in, that allowed me to keep tabs of what my opponent was doing, maybe get some damage done, and hopefully put them on the back foot. And I think that's what I did this game. I think we're seeing an example of a game where that all worked out the way I thought it would. And I was able to exploit some of the weaknesses in his game, such as the fact that he didn't properly close off his wall there, which is where I was able to get a lot of Zerglings through before. Okay. Oops, didn't need to pause there. Gotta get the camera back on what he was looking at the time. Okay, it's really good to see what my opponent is doing while I'm doing all kinds of other stuff. I've got my Zerglings building, and I think I've got a bunch of units loaded up into the Nydus Network at this point. I'm gonna go ahead and pause, and then switch over to my camera. Yeah, I think, okay, here I'm just moving my units into the Nydus Network. Let's see what he's doing at this point. Go ahead and unpause. He's got his forces moving out. This is where I thought he was going to catch the Overlord I was using to get vision of the cliff above. Alright, so at this point, we're doing okay. We're both doing okay as far as supply and economy. So while I might not have hurt him economically, I think I did put him on the back foot, set his strategy off a little bit. Now, I've got a Nydus Worm building. Oh, interesting. I had no idea. Look at that. I don't know if that actually appeared to him. Let's skip back on the map real quick, or on the timeline. I didn't know that that was a thing. Okay, so watch this. Watch over here. So you see that on the mini-map right there? It's showing him where my Nydus Worm is about to pop up. And it's giving him a huge big queue with a mini-map ping, a graphic, and the concentric circles right there. The ping. There's a ping and a graphic right there showing him exactly where my Nydus is about to pop up. I didn't know that that happened. So I've got to be careful of that in the future and probably switch to Overlord drops. Because if it's that obvious, then it's not going to work too many times once I go into gold or higher, or even higher silver, I think. I'm not really sure that's going to work all that much. If I want Nyduses to work in the future, I'm probably going to have to cause a distraction elsewhere. I'm probably going to have to cause a distraction by attacking one of their expansions, or attacking their front door while that happens, just so I can keep them... So I can split their attention. That's going to be very difficult for me to learn to do, but I think the biggest thing that I can take away from this replay is that Nydus Worms will do that on their minimap. Okay. Now, I could be wrong. Maybe that's something only in the replay. I'll have to look that up, and maybe I won't have looked it up by the time this video hits YouTube. So leave it in the comments and let me know if you know if on an opponent's screen they will see that graphic, because I really would like to know that. Okay, we're going to go ahead and unpause and watch the rest of this here. It is still ticked on to his camera, and he's building up, and I've got units in the Nydus Network right now, so it's about to pop. Let's see what happens. He hears that. He takes a look around. He's kind of panicked. Here come the roaches. He begins moving his probes. The roaches start attacking. It's important for me to note also that the Nydus worm does not attack move them out of the Nydus worm. It moves them, so I've got to attack move them myself to get them to do something. So I'm taking out an expansion here, making it so that he can't get many more resources. And he's hesitant to move down the ramp. I do have a much larger force, a much larger army than he does right now. Okay. Oh! I did not know that that happened. That is savage. Let's pull back and watch that again. Okay. I think those are called disruptors. Yep. Okay. Let's pull back a little bit further because, you know, 1 pixel or so wasn't enough. But we are on his map. Okay, so here come my forces. We're going to see what happens here. Where's that disruptor of his? Where is that? Oh, did it just pop? It must have just come out. Or maybe not, maybe not. Anyway, he's got this disruptor here, which has this ability that fires out a ball of energy. We're going to see how effective that is. Look at my army right now. So he comes over here with his disruptor, and we're going to see it do its thing. There goes that ball of energy, and he makes it right into the middle of my forces. A purifier orb. So that goes out in the middle of my forces, and my hydras pull up. Oh, he's aiming for my hydras. And then that detonates. Boom! And he gets 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks like he's got 5 of my units right there with that one explosion. That's tremendous. That's a really good ability right there. Okay, so he takes out a good chunk of my army. That's how come this fight was so difficult for me to win, and why he gets so many of my units right there. So what's the cooldown on that? It's got a big cooldown, looks like. That's good. That's also good to know. So he's got his disruptor moving. He's trying to move it in range, but he gets it too close to my hydras, and my hydras are still fighting probes, trying to kite them. I knew in the fight this was on cooldown. I knew what it could do, and while I was in here seeing that happen, I knew that that was on cooldown, so I didn't worry too much about it. But he moves his units out and cleans that up, thanks in large part to that purifier orb hit. All right, let's go back to his camera. But that's something I have to watch out for. There are Zerglings waiting there. I could have moved them in, but I didn't. I sent them in individually, or I sent them in as reinforcements, but then once they came out of the Nydus worm, I didn't do anything with them. So that's just a matter of me needing to work on that. So the Purifier Orb does not take out the Nydus worm. Out come the roaches. I could have been attacking those stalkers with them, but if you'll go back and watch as I played this, I was kind of misclicking and trying to click as quickly as I could, and in so doing misclicking and not getting a good control of my roaches. But I do get some roaches in there anyway, so that Nydus worm comes in handy twice over. So very much worth the expenditure of minerals and gas to actually get in his base. This is what I was talking about right here. I like to have control of a StarCraft game, and being able to get into my opponent's base and force them to react to stuff like that is how I do that. But wall-offs are something that prevent that. So I'm going to have to find creative ways to be able to get that control. And short of using Mutalisks, I don't really know any other way to do that. So if you guys have any tips for being able to go for early attacks, one of the comments I read very recently, at the time of this recording, of course, this is probably going to come out days after that video, but one of the comments I read said that Roach Ravager was a thing. Now, Ravagers, I am almost completely unfamiliar with it. I don't know a lot about them here at my opponent GG, so that's something I'm going to have to try and look up or try and experiment with a little bit. But Ravagers sound like they might be okay. I don't know if it's necessarily what I want to do, because they're a micro-intensive unit. They require me to cast that Corrosive Bile ability. Anyway, we're done here. We're going to go ahead and quit the replay. But I don't know. Maybe I can get good with them. Maybe it'll be fun. But micro-intensive units take away from my macro. Like, while I'm using all that micro and trying to fight, my minerals and gas are building up, and I'm not building a lot of things in the meantime. So I've got to be careful about that sort of thing. It's something I have to work. StarCraft is a game about balancing your micro and your macro, and typically for players in my league, whenever you're doing one, you're not necessarily also doing the other. So it's something I'm just going to have to learn. In any case, that was actually pretty cool. This is also an instance of a game where we can see that there is still stuff to learn in the replay of even a win. So watch the replays of your wins as well as of your losses, because as we're seeing, you can still learn a great deal even from your wins. Okay, so that will do it for this particular video. Hope you folks enjoyed this. Thanks a lot for watching, and I will see you folks next time.